and we had seen a drawdown in the LBMA and COMEX a few months ago to significantly low levels, really some at record levels. Where are they right now as we've seen this rally up and this pullback in the metals?
So right now, if I'm looking at silver, NYMEX, which is the reporting agency for CME Group for the metals, I'm looking at 31 million silver ounces in registered, 291 total. A couple of years ago, we had 36 million registered, 360 total. So that number has come down quite a bit. Gold is down to about 11,000 ounces liquid in the registered category, and total is about 22. I remember when that was 14, 15 liquid and 36 to 40 overall. So the inventory levels have come down on COMEX. On the LBMA, the OGC market, silver, I don't know if January data is out, but in December, silver had come down to 840 million ounces from 1.1 billion. So they've had a massive runoff in the last 7-8 months. Gold has started to flow a little bit off of the London market, though not as much. So silver looks like it's going to shortage faster. The Silver Institute recently came out and has re-revised for a second time the shortage that they see in the market between what the mines are producing and total demand being industrial and investment. For silver, they think that this year we could be short 223 million ounces instead of 194. And so that they think that the issue is definitely worse. Part of that issue is the mine supply is not as robust because money hasn't gone into that end of the sector, but also that demand is going to increase. And a lot of that demand, Elijah, is industrial. We haven't seen the big investors come into silver yet, and we're still draining silver. So by the time the general public wants to get into silver, they may find there's not a whole lot available because the industry this time has basically been drawing down stocks for 20 or 30 years. And we're now at the point where if we have any sort of rush into silver, man, that market is going to have to go vertical pretty quick. I could potentially foresee if we have a really big crash in the worldwide economy, given the silver stocks we have now and traditional movement into silver, I could potentially see the COMEX stopping trading, much like the LME did with nickel, because you may not have enough liquid physical silver. That's a potential. I'm not saying that's going to happen this year, but that potentially could happen if we stay at these inventory levels and then we do end up having a big economic crash like I expect. I think at some point silver goes limit on the trade. They probably stop the trade. I think gold will be there, but gold's price will go much higher because a lot of above ground stock that's been mined is still there. And so somebody's going to want to sell it if you give them a high enough price. Silver is a different animal. That one I'm worried about. And we've been talking about that on our program this week about probably the U.S. government needs to step in and call it a strategic critical mineral at this point. And then just, I hate to say it, but limit what the public can get. Because I'm worried, Elijah, that we're not going to have enough silver to support the economy because silver is used in everything. It's getting to the point where I have legitimate worries about whether this economy can function given the silver inventories we have on the COMEX right now.
And how will that impact the price? Because it seems like the silver price must be pretty, I guess, inelastic would be the thing, because you're using just a tiny bit of silver in a product, a phone or whatever, for industry, you're using just a tiny bit of product. So even if the silver price doubled, that's not going to impact the price of the product too much. So it seems like it could just be explosive for the price of the product if we do actually see, a legitimate shortage where industry needs it, but there's not the supply.
Yeah, for example, if you're buying an iPhone or a high-end Samsung Android phone, it may raise that price $15 to $20, which not much on the individual level. On an economic level, though, it's a lot because now you're talking billions of phones across the world. And or if you get into heavy usages, Tomahawk missiles in the military use 500 ounces. I just had a friend do a big research paper on that. So depending on where you're looking, some places are heavily dependent upon silver, but you're right. Most silver is used in small amounts, but it's used in almost every electronic, every medical implement. Anything that we use to advance society has silver in it. That's why, I recommend to the government they look at it as a critical mineral because we can't function without it. And yes, the price can go exceptionally high because it's used a little bit in most applications. And even if you're talking 500 ounces of Tomahawk missile, the U.S. government's not going to balk. If they need to buy missiles, they're going to buy missiles, right? They've got this thing called the printing press. I'll just print more bucks. So yes, that the price in silver can go nearly vertical at a time when we have a real shortage. I think we saw a couple of times silver's hit 50 when there were concerns about the economy, and those are in past markets where we had more freely available silver. Now we have less freely available silver. Will silver stop at 50 this time? Will it go to 100? We don't know. But certainly, I think some of the factors are aligning for silver to maybe have, a bigger booster engine on the rocket ship this time, and maybe we'll hit new levels. We're going to have to see.